Oh, thank you so much. So I set up Obelisk Support about 11 years ago, and actually it was all about the other pool that Steve mentioned, the one nobody wanted to fish in. So my focus at the beginning was to bring back city lawyers, highly qualified women that were being written off because they were mothers. And everybody that we tried to place them and get to work with them basically decided that they couldn't accommodate the flexibility, they couldn't put up with the school run, and therefore they were basically forced out of the labor market. So our number one priority was to bring them back. So really my business, which is also thriving because there is a candidate shortage and there is a lot of demand in the market at the moment, has always been around, if you like, communities that were disenfranchised by the existing model. I was very keen to understand their need first. So I started with the consultant population and really trying to not look at what was the differentiator, but to try to keep them connected to the legal sector and find opportunities for them. Because to me, I think one of the biggest opportunities that has come from the pandemic is the rise of flexible work. We've had such a market global level experiment that has not reduced the productivity and actually has not reduced performance of the firms. In fact, we're seeing law firms have amazing results. So the idea of remote working and allowing people to live their life around work seems to be something we should really embrace and push ahead in the future. Really, I feel very strongly about it. But my business started from the consultant end, people that wanted to work flexibly, to control the hours they worked, to control the location from which they worked. So most of the people we had from the very beginning were home-based consultants who understood how to work around all their other commitments. For me, the role of my business was to make sure that we were able to create a kind of non-friction between the client requirements and the consultant requirements. So make sure that whatever flexibility meant for the consultant lawyers could be translated to fit the flexibility appetite of the client. But I completely agree with Steve. I remember very clearly putting forward disabled lawyers before the pandemic, and nobody wanted to recruit them because they were in a wheelchair, they had mobility challenges, and they were not basically even considered. There was this requirement of being in one place above all other skills. And I felt very strongly, maybe because I was an employment lawyer, that we cannot continue to treat talent in this way for the longer term. Now, obviously the pandemic helped. So luckily, a lot of our people that were disabled are now enrolled. So that makes me really, really happy because suddenly their talent was visible, not their lack of mobility. So we used to focus, I think, on the wrong metrics, the wrong kind of talent qualities. And they included, are you willing to come into an office? Are you willing to be in a certain place in a certain time? And luckily now with Zoom and all the kind of technology that we have seen, people are being able to show themselves for the best qualities they have, which are technical ability and knowing their stuff. And everything else is a secondary aspect in how they're being assessed. We shouldn't have had this kind of shortage of talent to allow good people to be seen irrespective of the other protected characteristics. But it looks like only with the help of the pandemic, we could start to focus our attention on the right things. On the client side, so I think for me, consultants are having a great time now because really it's an opportunity. They're able to, if you like, shape the workplace because there is such a lack of talent in the market. We've got a really tight market and everybody with a different kind of requirements are able to negotiate them in. And I hope that will make for a permanent change in the way we really reimagine the workplace. On the client side, especially law firm side, I think there's a lot to be, desired. They are, I think, not understanding the depth of change that we have undergone. And if they're not waking up, I'm not sure the amazing results will continue to come. If I look at my own business, people do not want to work in law firms. Often they have bad memories and they think, will they really understand me? Will they really accommodate my needs and how I want to work? So really, there's a lot of education around cultural shifts in the law firm culture to really embrace flexibility truly And that involves really listening from the ground up, how you shape your policies, your working methods, and how you set people up for success. So I think the general counsel community and the in-house community is way better. They have definitely understood flexibility, because a lot of people, that was their first stop when they didn't want to work in a law firm. They just run away into a corporate environment where they could leave at 5 and pick up their kids. So flexible work and being having shorter hours were very much the reasons why they left. So they understand, they're more accommodating, and that's why my business is continuing to succeed. You would think, remote working, flexible working, everybody knows about it, but actually we're still having to educate, we're still championing flexibility and remote working, and that should even not be a requirement anymore. And I think we will see the push from the in-house community, the push from the consultant community, and I'm hoping that eventually law firms realize that the time for the old ways of working is really up, as is mine, I believe, because Richard is waving at me too.